Hey guys, Razorblade Mango here, and today I'm here to talk about the games in spring 2020 that I am excited for. So I did a little bit of brainstorming, and rather than dump all of the games that I'm looking forward to in 2020, for this year I have decided to instead spread it across the whole year. So hopefully I can keep this up. At the beginning of every season, maybe a week or two before the beginning of the next season, I will be posting a video where I talk about the games that I am most excited to play throughout the next season coming up. So in this case, right now it's February 2020. So today I'm going to be talking about games coming out in March, April, and May that I am excited to get my hands on and check them out. Now, these are games with confirmed release dates. So the criteria for being on this list is, one, it's got to be a brand new game coming out. It can't be a port that got delayed because of stupid publisher stuff. Or two, it can't be a tentative spring or a tentative summer. I don't want to see any tentatives, because whenever I see tentatives, I just assume, oh, it's going to get delayed. So these are games with confirmed release dates. So let's check them out. First game might be a little bit of a surprise to some of you guys because it is an Xbox Game Studios game, and they really haven't been making anything this generation that I could give less of a squirt of piss about. So this is a rarity. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, I can't even remember if I've ever played the original Ori and the Blind Forest. So I'm coming into this game as somebody who did not play the last one. And everything that I've seen for Ori and the Will of the Wisps actually has me genuinely interested in playing it. It looks amazing. I mean, obviously, the last game looked amazing, and you can know that without even playing it. But everything that I've seen from it, from all the E3 stuff to some of the other gameplay footage that I've been seeing recently, and that I've read about, it sounds very, very fun. And I'm not even usually a big Metroidvania kind of guy, if I'm being honest. I tried Bloodstained, it was fine, I guess, but I'm just not a big Metroidvania guy. So hopefully Ori and the Will of the Wisp can do enough to even lure me in as somebody who's not a particular fan of the genre. That's probably why I haven't played Hollow Knight yet. But it looks gorgeous, looks like a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to it. It looks pretty good. Oh, come on, seriously? Like, who isn't looking forward to Doom Eternal? I mean, this thing looks fucking awesome. Look, I know, Bethesda is shit. Bethesda has been shit for over, like, almost 2 years now, and I hate their guts, and I'm still skeptical even with their little, oh, we're not gonna put microtransactions into Doom Eternal. Sure, okay, because I definitely have multiple reasons to trust Bethesda. I have definitely have reason to take Bethesda at their word that they will not shove microtransactions into Doom Eternal once it becomes successful. Okay, sure. So, even without that, hopefully the stupid microtransactions are just saved for the stupid multiplayer mode that I'm probably going to touch once and never touch again. The main course of Doom is the single player, and this game looks like Doom, right? Which was already a game that was jacked up to 11. This thing looks like they have just broken the knob off of the fucking, like stereo speaker, and it's just going nuts. It looks bigger, more enemies, more weapons, more cool looking environments, more bosses. I guess there's a hub area now, which has me a little bit of concern because I like the more streamlined stuff of Doom, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I trust id Software to make something fun because Doom was one of my favorite games of not last year. It was one of my favorite games of 2016? I think 2016 is when it came out. Yeah, 2016, that's when it came out. And it was a masterpiece, straight up. I still play it every so often to this very day. I loved it. I even loved the multiplayer, which was controversial. It still is controversial because people apparently hated it, but I loved it. And I was sad that they got rid of it for this new one. So hopefully, if this game proves to be an enormous success, which it will be because it looks awesome, hopefully they'll add in traditional multiplayer back, like deathmatch and that cool looking, the cool protect the thingy while it rotates around the map kind of mode. I loved that shit. I thought that was a lot of fun. So Doom Eternal, it looks great. There's really not a whole lot I can say about Doom Eternal that a bunch of people haven't been saying about Doom Eternal for like 2 years now. It looks great. I'm really excited to try it out. I just hope Bethesda doesn't fuck it up. Animal Crossing New Horizons. So this game is coming out at a rather good time for me because I've been having a pretty stressful year so far. Personal stuff aside that I won't get into, it's been busy in terms of work, it's been busy in terms of school, definitely in terms of school. That's why the content on the channel has kind of slowed down a tad, even more than usual, besides the Popcorn Mango stuff. So I've been busy, and I need outlets where I can just escape into something. That's why video games are my poison. That's why movies are my poison. I can just escape to them when I'm tired of my fucking astronomy and psychology homework. And Animal Crossing New Horizons looks to be that beautiful, just time-absorbing escape that I am just excited for. It's a game where you just walk around a beautiful deserted island, you talk to animals that have funny, interesting things to say, and you just live a fun, cozy little life on this deserted island. Or, like they showed in the recent direct, you could turn it into a town, you could bring in new people that they're going to add throughout the year. So I'm really looking forward to Animal Crossing New Horizons because, truth be told, I have never played an Animal Crossing game extensively. I have played all of them every so often. I know I've touched all of them at least once, but never extensively, never to the point where I understand the lore or the inner workings of every single one of the games like a lot of people do. But I have been looking forward to an Animal Crossing game for the Switch because to me that is just the perfect console for an Animal Crossing game. I can just, after a hard day of studying and school and work and whatever other shit I decide to put myself through, I could just go to my big chair in the living room, sit, kick back with my Switch, and just get myself lost in this nice, colorful, calming, pleasant game. And if it's anything like Stardew Valley, which right now is my go-to for calm, relaxing, no killing, no fighting kind of game, Animal Crossing has a lot to live up to in my mind, and hopefully it can surpass it. Da 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 da. Woo! Persona 5 Royal. So this game, I mean, I already know it's going to be a masterpiece because the base game is a masterpiece. The base game is one of the greatest games I have ever played, ever. It comes close to cracking my top 10 games of all time. And with everything that I've heard about Royal and all the footage that I've seen from it, this sucker easily has a chance of just bursting through my top 10 games of all time like the fucking Kool-Aid Man. And it could get there. It really could. This really does have the potential to be maybe the third best game I've ever played. Maybe even the second. I don't know about the first. Kingdom Hearts 2 is like, you know, that's really a big, that's like the peak of video games for me, Kingdom Hearts 2. Persona 5 is a masterpiece. Let's get that out of the way. That's easy. But this one, it looks like it could just break through the top 10 and just maybe I'm trying not to sow the seeds of hype too much for this, but maybe could become my favorite game of all time. Maybe We'll see. But anyway, this one isn't even going to be qualified for a cream of the crop. I'm going to tell you guys that right now for cream of the crop 2020. I'm sorry, Persona 5 Royal is more than likely going to be the honorable mention. It's not even fair. It's not even fair to the other candidates for the list because I already know it's a masterpiece. I've put 200 hours into Persona 5, the base game, and I can easily see myself sinking another 100 plus hours into Royal. I love Persona 5 to death. So, yeah. Royal. But just inject it into my veins. Please. Just straight to my veins. The big one. The white whale. One of the white whales of the video game industry. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Technically Part 1. Because they're still doing that stupid thing where they're going to split it into multiple parts. I don't even know how many parts they're going to do it in, but... Right. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII is a great game. Final Fantasy VII, while not my favorite Final Fantasy game ever made, is undoubtedly a classic. And I think deserves its spot among the ranking of the greatest games of all time. Hell, there are a lot of people who consider it the greatest game of all time. So Square Enix have a lot of expectations to meet with this one. And to be perfectly honest, I am a little bit I can't help but be a little bit nervous about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I trust the people at the helm. Like, I trust Tetsuo Nomura. He's a talented director. I trust the people making the graphics, which look great. The combat looks fun. Hopefully those idiots at Square Enix will release the demo for it that's already leaked like a fucking million years ago that we already know about that's coming. If people can play it illegally, can you please just upload it to the PlayStation servers? Square Enix, like, please. And I've been doing my best to avoid footage of it recently, but I can't help but see little things here and there. And yeah, look, there is a good shot that this will turn out to not be very good. I'm gonna say this right now, and I don't want to deflate your guys' anticipation too much, but this is true for any game except Persona 5 Royal. This has the potential to not be particularly good. Okay, I'm recently going through Final Fantasy 15 again, and God, that is just that's just not a good game. It sucks. So I'm nervous that they might take some of the lessons that hopefully some of the mistakes from Final Fantasy 15 and maybe apply it here. I hope not, because I've seen stuff like there's side quests now that I am not excited for, because the side quests in Final Fantasy 15 suck mega ass. The combat, it looks good in motion, but playing it, I still have a little bit of doubt about. Again, which could assuage my fears if they released a fucking demo for it. And I'm not sure how it's going to play out in the future when we know that the story doesn't end with this one. Now, if this was the whole game in one package, I'd be like, oh yeah, give it to me, Papa Nomura. But I don't know how they're going to what they're going to change in order to make this comfortably fit into a multi-part series that's going to no doubt stretch out into maybe the end of the next generation. Maybe. It's possible. But in the meantime, if I were to pick one game out of the year that I am looking forward to the most, I gotta go with Final Fantasy VII Remake. But I have my doubts, and I hope Square Enix can pull it off, because as much shit as I give them, I'm always rooting for Square Enix to make games that just remind me why I fell in love with them to begin with. And last but not least, The Last of Us Part 2. So, trippy to think that by now we could have actually played it if they had stuck with the original release date. But, you know, Naughty Dog wants to delay it further to give it more time in the oven, more polish. I'm not against that. I'm fine with that as long as the final product turns out to be awesome. And while we have not seen a significant amount of stuff from The Last of Us Part 2, it looks like it's well on its way to be another high-quality Naughty Dog game. I mean, Naughty Dog is popular for a reason. They make excellent stuff. And look, I don't love all their stuff that they've made, but they have been impressing the hell out of me recently with The Last of Us, which is a great game, Uncharted 4, which is a great game, Uncharted Lost Legacy is really good, and The Last of Us Part 2, I'm actually happy they got rid of the multiplayer. This is a purely single-player focused game, and it looks like another game from them that I'm going to really enjoy. But again, like The Last of Us, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm a little bit nervous about this one. Less nervous than I am about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to point that out. There is some I have a little like gut thing about The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know if it's like my own personal thing that's going to get in the way where I don't particularly like it, or if Sony's going to come in and start maybe fucking with it. Hopefully not, because Sony's done a really great job of just leaving their shit alone. Just leave them alone. But with the recent change in top brass at Sony Interactive Entertainment, and the fact that they're kind of scooching just a little bit too much to the traditional AAA publisher business practices that I'd like to see from Sony, I'm a little bit nervous that they're gonna try to force some kind of in-game currency or microtransactions in The Last of Us Part 2, even though it's a strictly single-player game. And it sucks to feel that way because we've reached an age where not even single-player games are sacred. I mean, hell, look at fucking Shadow of War and how fucked that was at launch. All these Assassin's Creed games coming out have microtransactions up the butthole. It's not a safe. No one is safe from the greed of a publisher. There is nothing sacred anymore. So I have a lot more confidence in Sony not doing that shit than I would with the likes of EA and Activision and Ubisoft. But there's a part of that makes me a little bit nervous about what they're gonna do. Now that they're not doing a multiplayer mode, which they did have microtransactions for in Uncharted 4. But besides that, game looks great. It looks amazing. I'm shocked this thing is actually capable of running on a standard PS4. Because it just, like, wow, the level of detail in it, just wow. All the little dialogue and exchanges and the voice acting I've heard so far, it's been top tier Naughty Dog quality. No question about that. I'm very interested to see where the story goes, especially now that they've confirmed that Joel is there in some capacity. But I'm a little bit nervous as well, story-wise, that this whole thing is going to turn into a, oh, they killed my girlfriend and now I'm going to go after these people that murdered my girlfriend kind of thing. Because Naughty Dog has been rather coy with that, oddly enough. And we also haven't seen Joel interact with anyone else besides Ellie. So I think Joel might die at the beginning. He might, like he might die. It's possible, just from the clues that they've been dropping. Because if this was about Dina, I think that's the name of Ellie's girlfriend. If this game is all about Dina getting killed, I think they would have shown it by now. But they haven't. And given how coy they've been about Joel's appearance as well, something doesn't add up here. There's definitely something they're not telling us with that. It's like when all the Arkham Knight footage was coming out that was not showing the Joker. I had a feeling that there was something that they were hiding, and I get that feeling with The Last of Us Part 2 as well, related to that whole like the inciting incident that kicks off this whole thing. So we'll find out end of May, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's Sony exclusive, and hopefully this will be one of the games along with Ghost of Tsushima that just end a really great generation for Sony exclusives on a fucking bang. So there you go. Those are the games that I'm looking forward to this spring. And let me know in the comments what your what games you guys are looking forward to the most this spring. And if you like what you see, subscribe. And I kind of did this outro a little bit out of order, but I'll end it with my usual. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I will see you guys later. Bye.